On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream house or ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Ah, Smart Water. Pure, crisp taste.
That's really good water.
It's the kind of water that says, I have my life together.
I do feel more sophisticated.
Smart Water. For those with a taste for taste. Grab yours today.
Welcome to the HCI family of podcasts. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We share our own original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. Join us for practitioner-oriented content around all things leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with the HCI family of podcasts.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you ever spotted McDonald's hot, crispy fries right as they're being scooped into the carton? And time just stands still. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Dennis Holland, welcome to the conversation today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be asked back, and I'm excited about this topic.
It is a pleasure to have you back. We last met maybe about a year ago or so. And at the tail end of our last conversation, I invite audience to go back, check our back catalog, check out that episode. It was a great conversation. And at the very tail end, you started to tease this idea of this net connected score as this new KPI for workplace performance, workplace culture. And today we have you back to really talk about that, in great detail and to explore, like, what does this mean, a net connected score? What is it? And how does that connect with workplace culture? How can we use it as a metric, the KPI, to help us improve our organizations, our teams? As we get started, I wanted to share Dennis's bio with everybody. As CEO, Dennis is leading Quantum Connections into a new era of innovation, expansion, and transformation, leveraging the organization's 40-year history of clinical innovations and philanthropic successes. He is charting an exciting path of sustainable growth through the delivery of transformative relational competency programs to new markets, including corporations and nonprofits, as well as educational, government, and faith-based institutions around the world. His reputation for changing brand discussions from challenge to opportunity is met with his consistent success at driving remarkable market growth and thought leadership outcomes for numerous companies on a global scale. And I could go on. There's just so many awesome things about you, your background, your professional history, but I'm going to pause there. Is there anything you would like to highlight before we jump on in?
It humbles me to hear that description. But honestly, I think one of the things that I would really say is, to sum up my career, I have I have a 40 plus year track record of being a market creator, a brand builder, and now, well, for some time, but now an actual inventor with a patent pending on the way, of new ways to solve business problems. Who also comes to the table with a full understanding and appreciation for the fact that none of anything that I've ever done could have been accomplished were it not for the amazing, amazing teams that I have had the honor and the opportunity to work with over that 40 years. So, and that all bleeds into why I love what I'm doing right now. Thanks for letting me share that.
Awesome. Awesome. I love the inventor mentality, regardless of whether you're getting a patent or not. You know, most people in the audience are probably never going to file for a patent, but we can all be creatives. We can all be inventors in our own spheres and spaces, in various ways, right? And I think that's just so energizing. It's so much fun, because there's so much need out there to kind of break the mold and try new things and do new cool stuff, right?
Right.
Which is really where this net connected score comes in too. Like this is a new way of thinking about workplace culture. So I'm excited to dive on in. Maybe we can start there and just tell us a little bit about what that means, and we can start to dig in.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you'll allow me, I'll give a little bit of backstory.
Yes.
The you mentioned our 40 years of clinical experience, and we're founded by two of the most renowned relationship experts on the face of the planet, Doctors Harville Hendricks and Dr. Helen LaKelly Hunt. And Dr. Hendricks is the founder of imagotherapy. So he worked for over 40 years helping people from a marriage standpoint build better relationships. And he and Dr. Hunt wrote a book called Getting the Love You Want. That book happened to be read by just a everyday woman. Her name is Oprah Winfrey, and she loved the book, and she had him on her show, and then she had him on for 16 more times. And one of the episodes where he actually put into practice his methodology he created for building, connecting fractured relationships. He put it into process live, real time, on camera with a couple who were challenged at that point in their marriage. That was the basis for her first daytime Emmy, of Oprah's first daytime Emmy. So what I was asked to do about 2 years ago was, can we take what we have done over 40 years of clinical practice, and can we move this into the business ecosystem? And I thought, why not? Let's do it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Being,
Awesome.
being a business person the way that I have been for more than 40 years, it's one thing to launch a product or an offering, which our offering is superior in building relationships. But what you have to do from a business standpoint is you also have to provide the what's in it for me to the business leadership. And so it caused me to create theories and hypotheses in my mind where I thought, well, if we think relationships are so important to businesses, just as they are in our personal lives, especially when you spend a third of your life in business. Can we prove that it is important? And so what we set out to do, and I'm a study of masters, and I would never put myself in that category, but the masters who have gone before me. And a gentleman by the name of Fred Reichheld back when in the early 2000s, when serving customers and measuring their referenceability became the real hot button of the day, he created something called the Net Promoter Score. The Net Promoter Score is a measure of customer referenceability. And then with his ongoing work with Bain and Company, when they bought it, they were able to look at that measure of referenceability and extend it out into, and the question was from on a scale of 0 to 10, how willing are you to refer our company to your friends and colleagues? One simple, easy to understand question. And so he set the bar high. And I thought, well, how can we do something like that to actually prove that our relationship building capabilities actually provide true value, not just feel good value, but business value. So we created We did everything differently than they did, but we created one simple, easy to understand question. And that question is on a scale of 1 to 10, how seen and heard do you feel by your direct supervisor? Two things inherent in that. The direct supervisor, Gallup has the industry leader, the industry gorilla, the one that everybody bases a lot of what they do, has research out the door that says that people will leave a company. Over 50% of people who do, it's based upon their relationship or their lack of relationship with their direct supervisor.
Absolutely.
Feeling seen and heard are some of the things that the Google Aristotle project came out with, and the U.S. Surgeon General, the former U.S. Surgeon General, wrote about as being critical to the need for employees in the workplace, and the term psychological safety came up. And feeling seen and heard is a key component of that. So what we did is we created one single, simple, easy to understand question that captures the primary motivators of behaviors that drive high performance teams. And that fundamental need is the fundamental human need for being connected. And being in connection with other human beings, our work from Harville and Helen has told us is hardwired into who we are as humans. We all have a fundamental human need to be connected with other people. So we wrote this question that drives to the point of psychological safety in the person, with the person who has the biggest effect on an employee's feelings of belonging, of wanting to be engaged, wanting to stay with the company. And we created it. We went out to market with a 2,000 person sample first to validate the question itself. Is it the right question to ask? Is it indicating that we will get the kinds of results out of it that we wanted? It proved that, and then we took it another 10,000 people. So we have a 12,000 plus survey, 49 industries asking the one question. We now came out with a tool that can actually provide a company a measure of their human connection in their workplace, and then we can correlate that level of connection with their engagement, retention, and profitability of the organization. And I can go into greater depth on those because that's where it gets really, really exciting.
So on a scale of 1 to 7, how much do I feel seen and heard by my direct supervisor?
On a scale of 1 to 10,
1 to
how
10.
seen and heard do I feel by my direct supervisor?
Yeah.
And that unlocks so many insights. And honestly, what makes it really, really cool is we partnered with the leading research firm in behavioral science and analytics for the workplace. And we designed it to, what we have is not something that we even suggest replaces any of the current metrics that are in place. But what it does is it is additive to those things. Because, Jonathan, we have been talking about, and people have been, the sky is falling, employee engagement is falling off the cliff. Gallup just came out with in their latest State of the Global Workplace, they came out with a figure that says only 21% of employees are engaged or actively engaged. That means 79% of the employees are disengaged or actively disengaged. And so basically what we have is 8 out of you're on mute, I think.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
And the percentage of that's actively disengaged is really high.
Really
so not
high.
Passively disengaged, actively disengaged.
And so what? So I did a similar thing for my last company. I woke up one day and heard the consumer sentiment index on NBC News, and I was like, well, what does it really matter about sentiment? I want to know what they're actually doing, though. And so what we did with our Net Connected score is we dig deeper into not the fact that there is 79% disengaged or actively disengaged. Why? Why are they disengaged or actively disengaged? Or why are they engaged and actively engaged? And so our new tool allows us to survey a company. We can then take the groups on the disengaged side and the engaged side, and we can look at the behaviors that these people are demonstrating in their everyday work life. And we can do that through our one question, just like the Net Promoter Score could measure referenceability. And we can give practical advice, guidance, plans to a company on how you can increase engagement and what that engagement will mean to you. For example, as a net connected score increases, employees are 55% more likely to raise new ideas, 44% more likely to admit mistakes without fear, 39% more likely to take calculated risks. They are in an environment where they feel safe. They feel like they can even question a supervisor and not be held, you're gonna have retribution as a base of that. People can't exist in that kind of environment. They can't. They can't operate in it. And so that's why people are becoming more and more disengaged, because the way that we're looking at how we have done things in the past, they aren't working anymore. But we can't just stop at, whoa, the figures are going off the cliff. We have to get to the heart of why. Retention is huge. Gallup says that it takes between 50% to 200% of a person's salary to replace them. We, through our survey results, we can say that as your net connected score improves, you will have at least 31% of your employees will be less likely to think about leaving their job. They will be more likely to stay, at least more likely to stay in their current role an additional 9.5 months with increments in their net connected score. So we not only help provide the insights as to why it's occurring in your environment, but we can give them practical guidance on what you can do in order to create environments that allow people to be engaged, that cause them to want to stay with the company and not constantly be looking for what should I be doing next? And then the real thing is, because while they're different metrics, they act in a systemic way. Because when those things happen, there is a direct correlation to the profitability of the organization, because we can now measure that a fully connected workforce experiences a 38.7% greater profitability than a disconnected one. What we're here to say is we are now to the point where the data and the insights that Gallup and the Edmondson Psychological Safety Scale and the Employee Net Promoter Score, those are all very, very critical, and we are additive. We build on top of those, but we are a relative score that leverages that publicly available data and provides a very distinct and predictive modeling capability that gets to the heart of workplace connection through that simple question that leads you to business results. So I've said a lot, I know, but I'm so excited and I'm so passionate about it. And yes, we did file for a patent on it, and we're like blowing and going here, and we just can't get enough people to know about it quickly enough.
Well, it's so awesome. And I don't know if you're using it this way, but as you're describing it, one of the great things about having a single item, is just how easy it is to administer. So it can be used in pulse surveys. That's how I envision it being used. I don't know if that's how you're using it mostly or not, but just really quick pulse surveys or quick data grabs to better understand how people are doing, instead of these annual engagement surveys.
Right.
That's kind of been the typical industry thing, the approach for many, many years, and that's just kind of an obsolete way of gauging and measuring engagement and these types of constructs that we're talking about.
Right.
It's just too lagged. You need more real-time information to be able to make adjustments and to really know where people stand.
And
And so having quick ways to get at that without people having to once a year sit down and take like a 20 to 30-minute survey,
right.
um, with survey fatigue and all that kind of stuff that also goes into why it's problematic.
Yep.
It's huge. It
Yep.
really is huge, and it has all of these other connections to individual level, team level, organization level performance outcomes, right?
Right, right. Let me state though that the depth to which the Gallup Employee Engagement Index goes, it is amazing, and it is critical to providing that base level understanding, and it actually serves as the foundation so that we can correlate back to that information, because what they do is incredible work. And
Oh, yes. And I want to clarify too. I don't mean like Gallup or
right,
McKinsey or some of these places that put out some really great reports. Those are awesome and really needed. I'm referring to like specific organization
right,
level
right.
surveys
Yeah,
that if you're only doing it once a year, man, you're just not going to really have a good pulse on what your
right, right.
organization's doing,
And
right?
that, and so we envision everything from, if a company allows us to send links, which a lot of people don't, there's the one question. We're into QR codes now.
Mm,
We're into a bunch of different things where maybe it's offered as a part of ongoing safety training that's delivered in a manufacturing environment. They walk
yeah.
in, they scan their QR code, they answer one question. And a lot of it too, Jonathan, is I think the trust when people ask. That's also what's really good about our question. It doesn't ask a question like, "Are you getting ready to leave your job?" Let me
Right.
fill it out. Yes. Um, it doesn't. It asks a very nuanced but psychologically sound uh, question that reveals a ton of data, especially when correlated to the fantastic work of the Gallups and the Edmondsons and organizations like that. So I hear what you're saying, and I get that. I get what you're saying. I want to make sure that I'm not positioning as any kind of replacement. What they do is awesome, amazing. The industry needs it, and the good news is it's baked into a lot of companies in terms of how they do poll their employees. Ours is a one question, walk in, QR code it, answer your question. And our hope is just like the Net Promoter Score became, and I'll use this term, and please excuse me, and copyrights infringement and all that kind of stuff. I'm using it out of total respect. That became the good housekeeping seal of approval for companies to say, yeah, we're the company you want to align yourself with as a customer because we do really good work.
Yeah.
Ours has the same potential to become that symbol of approval for an organization that they can start putting into their annual reports to say, we are one of the most connected organizations. Here's how we stand against our competitors. Here's how we stand against our industry. Here's how we stand against the general population in the workforce. The depth of our survey and the way that we'll continue to do this gives us a 99% confidence interval, very minute plus or minus margin of error. So we're dealing with real data that can provide real insights that have a real impact on the performance of a business. And when the entire organization is working in this culture of connection, that becomes your culture then.
Yeah.
It's not a siloed departmental leader employee. It starts that framework for being a culture of connection, which is the fundamental offering that I started off with, that we do, and we do extremely well, and we've done it for some very, very large organizations. But I wanted to be able to walk into a CEO and say, if you do this, this is what you can start to see out of it. It's not just, oh, everybody's going to feel better. It will manifest in true results to the organization.
Awesome. I think it's just so needed. Like we really do need to pay attention to it, and especially in a day and an age where there's economic uncertainty.
Right.
There's increased disruption, globally, for a variety of reasons, geopolitical, social, but technological, right?
Right.
There's just all sorts of things going on within organizations that are making it hard. And at the moment, we're not, it's not like it was a couple years ago where organizations were battling as hard to get talent as they don't have to as much now as they
Yeah.
had to back then.
Yeah.
But it's a pendulum, right? And it does go back
Right.
and forth, and
Right.
we will, there are persistent skills gaps in the
Right.
labor force,
Right.
and so we know that we have to be very proactively and strategically invested in creating good employee experience, and culture is a huge part of that. And if we're not proactively trying to create that environment now, today,
Right.
we may be able to get away with it a little bit of having like a less than ideal workplace now, but in a year from now, maybe not, or 2 years from now, maybe not. And we're going to lose good people, and then we're going to have a hard time attracting them back or getting other people to come
Exactly.
back because of our reputation or whatever. Like it all really matters. We got to focus on this and pay attention.
And
I really appreciate the work that you're doing, how grounded it is in science and research, which is really, really important. And so I just applaud you on all of that. Dennis, I note the time. I'm going to need to let you go here in a minute and get on with your busy day. But before we wrap things up for today, I just wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, your team, and then give us the final word for today.
Okay. So how you can connect is through quantumconnections.com. And we have a brand new website that we didn't have before, and we have the ability to ask for more information. And believe me, as soon as someone sends in a request, we will take it right away. I would also recommend that to receive our Net Connected Score report, our full study survey report, it's quantumconnections.com/NCS, and you can download the full report and see what we're doing. And my final word would be, you are exactly right, Jonathan. When we invest in our people, and for us, that means investing in giving people the dialogue, skills, and tools required to build fundamental human connection. We don't just treat the symptoms of engagement and retention and others. We actually unlock the full potential of both our people and our organizations. And we are committed to helping companies do that. And we can't wait to hear from people. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's just been a real pleasure. I encourage the audience to reach out, to get connected, find out more about what Dennis and his team can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the podcast. We hope you stay healthy and safe, and please join us again soon.